So as I said, for your quiz, you will be able to see the answers and the explanations once it's due. Okay, if it's due at 11:59 today, you will be able to see them 12 o'clock tomorrow. So immediately after it's due, you will be able to see the answers. So these are the answers. And for some of them, when I feel that it needs to be explained, I put a general answer comment there so that you can see the why that is the answer. Okay. This is not your view. If you look at it, you will see something different. But I'm telling you, you do have the answers and you do have the explanations. Right? Okay. So that's this question. That's this quiz. Now, after I tell you, do you have any questions, everybody?
Yes, I had a question about number 8.
Number 8. Okay, let's look at number 8. For 3 of you, I think you cannot see the answers. You cannot see the explanations, maybe, because I added them after the 3 of you finished. So yeah, there are 3 students who finished early. And okay, so for this one, the correct answer is this one. And Brandon.
Yeah.
Okay, look at yours. Did you get the correct answer?
No, I feel like I did, but perhaps I don't understand the concept
Which
properly.
answer
But
did you choose? Which one did you choose?
a pair of parentheses,
Okay,
and
you
my
will.
reasoning was you can still print something, display something in the Python shell. If you displayed the contents of a variable, you wouldn't put that variable in the print function in quotes. You would still just have to put it in the double parentheses.
That's correct. But if it's a variable, why would you put it in double parentheses?
I mean, because it would still have to be contained within the print function, wouldn't it?
Yes, but why would you need another pair of parentheses?
Not double parentheses per se, but just you would need to put it in parentheses to get the print function to work. I assume I guess I didn't think that was considering the parentheses that would normally be included with the print function.
Yeah, you are very, I agree with you, Brandon. This is not a very good question. I would say it's not as a good a question as it should be. Okay, so you are saying, why is it not working? Oh, it doesn't work here. You are saying this one, right? But I would
Yes.
say if you only have one pair of parentheses, that would be correct.
Yeah, and I misspoke when I said a double pair of parentheses or double parentheses, but yeah, it's the way it's worded in the question is saying a pair of parentheses, and that's what I assumed it meant was an opening and a closing parenthesis
Yeah,
as
it says
the
must be enclosed, right? This one, no. This one, no. Actually, that one is also correct. You can put it in single quotes. We didn't talk about that, but so this is the correct one you want to display. But this is, I will go back and look at your answers and give you maybe half a point. The reason is you actually, if you want to print out a variable, which you correctly pointed out, Brandon, that's very good. You should be only within the parentheses, not double parentheses. Does it work? Yes, but it's not necessary, right? So that question, I will go back and regrade yours and give you half a point for that one. How about that?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, okay. Any other questions, everybody? No? No questions? Okay, then we are done with this chapter 1 quiz. The next one you are going to do will be chapter 2, right? So, and the next set of assignments you are going to do are chapter 2. So we are really done with week 1, and I'm going to collapse this one. And week 1 and 2, we are done, everybody. Some of you said you might have forgotten the programming exercises. That's why I'm saying go through modules. Don't just click on anything else. Go through modules and you will see everything here, right? Okay. So we are done with this one. Now let's go to chapter 2. Chapter 2, we will use weeks 3, 4, and 5. So that's 2.5 weeks to finish chapter 2. Okay, I will let you go through those on your own. I am going to start lecturing on this one. And I'm recording this so that you can go back and revisit the lecture. And hopefully that's good for you. And but you do have these smaller modules, okay, to discuss everything in this chapter. And if you look at your programming assignments, half a month, in 2 weeks, you will have these 4, 5. Oh, I thought I separated them. Oh, that's chapter 3. Okay, all of them are due in 2 weeks. So I would say once we cover something, you look at the assignment. If you feel you can do it, go ahead and do it. Don't wait until the last day when they are due, you start doing them. And then you might have technical difficulties and everything else. So make sure you do that, okay? And this is, you will have a quiz, you will have a test of chapters 1 and 2. Okay, so let's start. If you don't have any questions, okay, we will start. So this is fundamentals of Python. So we start with these objectives. What we learn in this chapter is really all this. I will let you read. And we will go to this. First of all, let's talk about the software development process. When you develop software, first of all, what is software? When you write a program, you are writing software. Software is a list of instructions that can perform a certain task. Okay, so we are making software, everybody. Okay, so software development, there are different models. There are iterative models. There are waterfall models. So one of the ways to develop software is you first need to get the customer request. That is the problem to solve, right? So the customer said, I want to do this, this, this. And you get the request, you analyze it and see what is lacking, what part you don't understand, and identify the problems, identify the things you need to do, right? And if you don't understand it, you need to go back to the customer and ask, what exactly do you mean you want to do this? How, what, you know? So that's the analysis part. And then you design your solution, step-by-step algorithm. And then you begin to write it. And that is the writing part, right? That's implementation. That's actually the coding part. Once you have the design, actually, this is the easiest part. Now you think this is difficult, the most difficult part. Yes, at the beginning, but afterwards, once you get the hang of software development, this and this are difficult. Design is the most difficult thing because you need to find the solution to solve this problem. So that's where the algorithm comes in, okay? You will design the step-by-step solution. And then, oh, not here, I'm sorry, here. That's where you find the step-by-step solution. And this is simply to translate your solution into Python or Java or C++. So that's called implementation. That's actually writing the code. And then if you have quite a few groups working on the same system, and which is most likely the case, then you will have to integrate the system. Integrate all the coding, all the code. And then you keep updating it, you keep fixing the bugs. So this is get the problem or the request from customer, analyze it, and see if you completely understand what the customer wants to do. If not, you need to go back to the customer, okay, to ask for clarification. And then once you know the problem, you begin to design the solution. That's where the algorithm comes in. And once you have the step-by-step solution, you can write code. That's called implementation. And then you integrate all the different parts of the system into one, and then you release it to the customer. And then you keep fixing bugs and updating, that's where the patches come in. If you think about it, your Windows operating system, it keeps updating, right? That's where the maintenance is. It releases patches, bug fixes, etc. So that's what maintenance is. Okay. So this process is called the waterfall process. That means it goes down and it never goes back. Actually, so if you look at what I said, you actually go back. You actually, when you design, you think, oh, I understand that wrong. You go back. And when you implement, you think this design is not correct. You go back. When you integrate, if you cannot integrate all the parts, you need to go back to modify your implementation. So it's an iterative process. It's not really a waterfall. This is the old model. The very old model, very restrictive. You do everything perfectly, and then you never go back, which is impossible, but that is the model, waterfall, okay? You do everything 100% correctly, and you don't go back. So that is that model, which we don't use nowadays. Nowadays, we really use incremental and iterative. That means you keep going back to modify your original design or your original implementation. So it's an iterative solution process. Iterative means it's like a loop. It keeps going back. Okay, it's a loop, right? Okay, it's not like you start here, you go all the way down and you are done. That's the waterfall. That's the waterfall. This is the iterative. Excuse me, that's the iterative process. Any questions about this, everybody? Okay, let's go to, I will let you read this. If you look at this, okay. Maintenance is the most, it requires the most, because once you release it, you think it's done. It's not. Even Apple, their product has bugs. So you keep going back to actually fix things. Okay, so let's go to coding. Strings assignment and comments. Okay. Strings, we briefly discussed strings before, and text processing is processing strings. Text processing is by far the most common application of computing. If you think about it, nowadays we are doing completely, I cannot say completely, most of the time, what are we doing? We are processing text. We are processing strings. You do a search on Google, that's string. You post something on your Facebook, that's string. You tweet something, that's string. Whatever you do, you are processing strings. Think about Zoom. Now we are in Zoom, right? What are we doing? We are talking, that's string. So everything is really strings. And that's why, if you remember, I told you when you do input, the input function, it gets from the keyboard, it gets it as strings, right? Because it's the most basic processing element. So string is by far the most often used data that you must process. Okay, and let's talk about data types. So string is one data type, but it's a more complicated data type. String is actually a class, but int, and float here. Okay, let me find it. Int and float. These are called data types. They are primitive data types. Okay, so what is an int? This is an int, right? What is a float? This is a float. A float has decimal numbers, an int is a whole number. So this is called an int literal. A literal simply means the value itself, right? So this is an int literal, this is a float literal. Okay, and this is a string literal here. In double quotes, anything in double quotes is a string. So this, we call this a string literal. I have to find my mouse pointer here. Okay, this is a string literal. And this is a string literal. This is an int literal, right? And this is also a string literal. Why? Everybody, why is this a string literal? Why do we say it's a string?
Because it's a whole number? Or...
Because it's in the double quotes.
Yes, because it's in the double quotes. Okay, this is a string. This, on the other hand, is what?
It's an int.
It's an
It's
int.
an int. It's an int. And this is what?
Float.
Float.
Float. This would be a string. Okay, everybody, that's the difference. So we call this a string, we call this float, we call this int. Okay, those are the types. And at the same time, these are also functions, if you remember, right? We have int, input, anything, and then that input will be converted to int. So we will look at them. So these are also functions. Let me my voice. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Any questions, everybody? Okay, in Python, a string literal is a sequence of characters enclosed in single or double quotes, single or double quotation marks. Okay, so this is empty string. It's a string, but it doesn't have anything. This is string with hello in it, right? Double quoted strings are handy for composing strings that contain single quotation marks or apostrophes. So if you look at it, why do we like to use double quotes? Because if we use double quotes, we can easily use a single quote inside, right? Okay, if you use a single quote, then how does the system recognize this is not the ending? For example, if you say, okay, let's go back. If you do something like this, okay, that's the end. You see, I am here. Okay, if you have this string, how does the system know this is not the end of your string literal? Do you understand me, everybody?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So that's why if you use double quotes to begin, the system will know that, okay, everything within the double, I'm looking for everything until the end of the double quotes, until I come across the next double quotes. So it starts with a double quotes, it will see, this is okay, this is within it, this is within it. Oh, here is the double quotes. That's the end. So it's easier to process, right? If you have an apostrophe, you have a single quote, use double quotes will be easier. Everybody understands that. Okay. And you can print it this way. So this can be easily printed. Otherwise, the system doesn't know that is simply apostrophe. It thinks not, yeah, shortened form, right? So the system would think this is the end. So it will take this string, and then the rest will be syntactical error. Okay, that would be syntax error. So that's this. Any questions, everybody?
Is there ever a time that using single quotes would be preferred to put in a string, or is it one of
No,
those?
actually,
No?
no. Actually, great question, but my advice is to always use double quotes. The reason is Python is a very syntax-lax language, while in other languages like Java and C++, for strings, you must use double quotes. So I would advise everybody to get into that habit of using double quotes for strings so that you don't have to re-habitualize yourself to double quotes when you begin other languages. So use double quotes for strings, even though single quotes is correct. Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, string literals. So if you have multiple line paragraphs, they are called doc strings. For example, if you look at this statement, okay, look at this one, print 3 double quotes. And because your line is very long, you're going to the next line. So you have to use 3 consecutive double quotes to tell the system, I'm not ending, it's not the end, go to the next line. So the system will look at all the things inside the 3 double quotes. This is called multi-line strings. Let's look at an example, okay? I'm going to do this. Okay, for example, we can say print, right? Hello, this is good. And you can do this. And if I go down, you see there is a syntax error. That means I have to end it with a double quotes, right? Okay, so you have to, when you want to go to the next line, you have to end it first. So what if you want to print multiple lines? You know, so this is what you do in Python, 3 double quotes, and then you can go to the next line. It's okay, the system will allows you, and then you end it with the 3 double quotes, and then it will print out all this. Okay, that's the difference. Do you understand this, everybody?
Yes.
Yes, no questions? Okay, that is called, when you put things into 3 double quotes, that's called docstring. Okay, so look at this example again. This is what we just did, right? That means if you want to print multiple lines, you cannot use one double quote because you cannot go to the next line. Okay, it doesn't allow you. So you have to use 3. And then you can go to the next line and the next line, and you end it with 3. Okay, so that's that. Let's go to the next one. Escape sequences. Okay, escape sequences. This is called escape sequence. All of these are called escape sequence characters. Okay, so this is called a new line character. It's escape sequence. It's called a new line character. So if you look at this, why do we need this? The reason is sometimes we want to print it in multiple lines. Okay, so let's first look at the escape sequence characters. Backspace, new line character, tab, backspace, not backspace, backslash, single quote, double quote. Okay, look at the example. Good, and then good, and then tab, this is an escape sequence character, and then morning. So when you actually execute this command, you will see good and tab and morning. Okay, and look at this one. Go to the space and then a new line character. That means it should go to the next line. So line will go to the next line. So go to the, and there is a space here actually, okay? And then line. So, and this one, I'm using this is the backslash escape sequence character you must have, and this is the backslash, right? Okay, you look at this. So when you print this variable, okay, this is what Brandon was talking about, right? What if you want to print a variable? So when you print the variable, the output is I am using a backslash because this is printing out a backslash. Why do we have to use two for backslash? Because if you use one, the system will take it as an escape sequence character that will follow. So if you don't have one, it will say syntax error, right? So you have to put two there to print out one backslash character. Okay, and look at this one. You have written, this is the double quotes, an excellent program. Okay, I think I made an error. What's wrong, everybody?
You forgot a double quote.
Yes, I forgot a double quote. Double quotes, everybody. There should be the double quotes there. Okay, so this is the double quotes, right? And this is the double quotes. And then you look at it, that's what is printed out, and that's what is printed out. This is the beginning, this is the ending of the string, and this is the beginning of the string. So if you don't put this backslash there, the system will think this is the ending of the string, and therefore it will have a syntax error. Everybody, okay? So let's look at some examples. Print, good, and then tab key, morning, right? There is a tab, print, good, a new line character, morning. So now they are on two lines, right? Print, good. Okay, so if you want to print out a double quote, you cannot do this. You cannot do this. The reason is, I told you about this. To the system, this is the complete string. So you have something extra here that doesn't make sense. So it will give you a syntax error, invalid syntax. So you have to make sure the system understands that you want to print this out. So you use this to escape, okay, to tell the system, this is not the end of the string. This is a valid character. That's what you are saying to the system. So now, and you want to print out another double quotes. So you need to tell the system, this is not the end of the string. This is a double quote I want to print out. And now you end the string. Okay. So that's that. Any questions about these escape sequence characters, everybody? No questions? Okay. So now let's do an exercise. I want you to do this. Do you have questions about this? Once again, do you understand it, everybody?
Yes.
Oh, yes? Okay. I will give you 10 minutes to do this. This is your programming exercise. So 10 minutes. What you do is print out your first name and your last name this way. First name, backslash, two backslashes, and then last name with the double quotes. Okay, so once you finish this one, do this one. Ask the user to enter first name and last name and print them out as follows. So do this one first. Okay, do the first one. Do you have questions, everybody?
Did the first one.
Do the first one, yes?
I did it.
Oh, you did it. Okay, good, good. Everybody, let's get the first one done. So if your first name is Omkar, you will print out Omkar. Okay, That's what I want you to do. For this one, you need to ask the user what the first name is. Okay, this is a more difficult one. So do the first one first. I will give you 10 minutes. Okay, let's look at this. This is you are inputting. So let's run it and see. It will not work though, Kobe, right?
Yeah. What?
Okay.
Yeah, the problem was I was trying to figure out is that I got the inputs working. They're working perfectly fine. The problem
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out is that it's not trying to put the first.
Module.
Now let's look at the code first. Okay.
Okay.
So print omcar, that's your first name, and then you have 4 backslashes. Omcar. Explain why you have 4 backslashes there.
According to this notebook that I have here, in order to type the backslash, you need to have 2 backslashes.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. So if you want to print 2 backslashes, you have to have 4 of them. That's absolutely correct. And then you have the double quotes, and then you have the double quotes,
Yeah.
and then you end it. Very good. That will print out the first name and last name. Let's run it.
Run module.
We cannot see your the other screen.
Oh,
So if you look at that, the very you don't have to do that yet. Let's look at, okay, omcar backslash 2 backslashes Delphi, everybody. That is correct. And omcar, drag it so that we can look at the code at the same time. Yes, okay, everybody, look at the code and then look at the result. That's how you do it. That's correct. Okay, now the second part is first name is input and then last name input. If you look at just now Kobe, what Kobe did, you put a string there, which is not necessary. The reason is input will always give you a string, right? So you don't need to convert it to a string. And then print the name you typed is, that's one parameter, that's one argument, comma, omcar, highlight the last statement, please. Highlight the last statement. Highlight the last statement. Yes, yes, okay. So that, okay, comma, and then first name is a variable. So you need to separate the string, literal, the name you typed is, and the variable. That's why you end the string and you put a comma in between. And then you want another string, which is the 2 backslashes with a comma to separate this variable with a string literal, 4 backslashes, right? And then comma, and then another double quotes, another string. So for this one, you can put them together, but you can separate them. That's no problem. And then you have a plus last name plus first name plus that. We really didn't talk about that yet. So let's change that. You don't have to change. Okay, so he is combining the 2 together, which is something we will discuss later, very soon. But omcar, let's change it. Change the plus sign to a comma.
okay.
Because that's what we learned, right? Okay,
I
and
type /n.
no, that's it. And the last one, the last plus sign. Yes, okay, let's run.
All right. Now, if I were to type Kobe Bryant.
Okay, very good, everybody. You can see the spaces, that's fine. That we will look into that later. But at least you can see that the name you typed in is the first name, 2 backslashes, the double quotes, Bryant, and oh, that's the last name in double quotes. So that's correct, everybody. Very good, Omkar. Thank you. Just for recording, so that everybody knows what we are doing. This is what we are doing, right? This is another exercise. I'm doing this recording, so I want to be comprehensive. This is what I want you to do, right? Okay. So Marilyn, let's look at yours. And absolutely correct. However, if you look at your after statement, you have all of them are strings. So you actually do not need to have all those commas to separate them. Can we modify it? Let's modify it a little bit. So if you take out the commas, what do you do? Your last statement, can you do that? Not there. Here, can you see my mouse?
No, I can't.
Okay, here. The last set, you have the quotes, the period, is it, and then backslash true, backslash question mark.
Yeah.
That part, they are all strings. You can actually put them together. Can you
Okay.
do that?
So like, so like that, or
No, this will not work. You need, if you take them as separate strings, you need to separate them with a comma. But if they are all one string, you can put them in double quotes, just one double quotes, one pair of double quotes. Yes.
that's what you mean.
Yes, yes, that's very good.
So like that would work.
Okay, at the beginning, no, the first field, the double quotes, not there, not there. After statement, after statement.
Oh. Wait.
See
for this
where
one?
else? Yes, yes.
Okay.
No, that's correct. But
Okay.
you see after statement, yes, there.
I see what you mean.
Think about which else you need to take off. Another double quotes, you need to take it off.
Oh, this one.
Yes,
And then that
yes, very good.
Would you need the comma here? Or-
Yes, get rid of the comma.
Or get rid of it?
No, get rid of it.
Yeah, okay.
And then you need to get rid of the double quotes, because now you are putting everything as one single string, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's run. Do you have an extra something? Okay. Okay, so if you look at it, it is the same as your first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
I see.
You
So-
did it correctly
Yeah.
the first time, but to simplify it, because they are all strings, those items are all strings, you can put them in one single string. That's what
Okay.
I'm trying to get. Very
I
good.
get it now. Thank you.
Okay, you're
Sorry about
welcome.
that.
Okay, very good. Anyone else who wants to share?
I can share mine.
Okay, let's look at it, Carlos. Very good. Now let's look at it. Print, I say that's good. User P, user is equal to input. What do you want to say? Print, you say, and that's good. That's good. Let's run it.
Okay.
Okay, Carlos, can you drag it to the side? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Knowledge is power is a cliche, but it is absolutely true. The first statement is correct. And now what do you want to say? Life is good. I like that. Okay, is it true? Very good, Carlos. Absolutely correct. I
Thank
will
you.
ask you to change a little bit again.
Okay.
You go to your print, the last statement, you say, and the double quotes, they are the same. They are strings. So can you modify it so that you use just one string?
Where?
The last statement, the beginning,
Right here?
you say, and the double quotes, they are just one string, right? You
Mhm.
can make it into one string instead of two. This works fine. Just know that this is absolutely correct. But if you want to simplify it a little bit more, since you say and the double quotes are strings, both are strings, you can put them in one pair of double quotes, like what we did with Marilyn, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you make that change?
Right here, you say on the
Yeah.
when you say.
So you say and the double quotes, you can put them in one string. Can you do that?
Like delete the quotes, you
No,
say?
no, no. You
Oh,
cannot delete the first
I
one.
know, but like,
No, that's the first one that you must have.
can you repeat it,
Not
please?
there, not there, not there.
Let me check. Oh, right here on the last one.
You can change there, but the first one you can change also.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, let me take over and see if I can.
Okay.
Give me control. Okay.
Okay.
Now, okay. So now everybody, if you look at this part, right? That's what we did with Marilyn's, this part and this part, they are two strings. So
Mm.
we can put them together. To do that, we can delete, this is the beginning of this small string. I can delete that, delete that, delete that. That's the ending of that small string. So now you put everything in one string. Carlos, do you see
Oh,
it?
yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so
Yeah,
this
okay.
is you say, right? And this is the double quotes, right? So that's the end of the string. And here, but everybody, you don't have to do this. If you feel comfortable doing what you do, this is absolutely correct. I'm just doing this so that you know you can actually simplify this. You know, this is the end of this small string. Let's delete that. And delete that comma and delete this, right? So now it's just 3 items, one string and that and that. Okay, Carlos, let's run it.
Okay.
Okay, right? It's the
Nice.
same as what you did before. Very good. Thank you so much, Carlos.
Oh,
It's
thank you, miss.
absolutely correct. Very, very good. Okay. Anyone else who wants to share? I need to share my screen. So what does concatenation mean? It means combining things together. Okay, so you can join two or more strings to form a new string using the concatenation operator, which is this, right? This. Oh, where are you? Here, here. The plus sign. It is a arithmetic operator, addition, but it's also a concatenator, a string concatenator, which means it can concatenate, it can combine two strings together. Look at this one. William, this is one string, and Faulkner, this is another string. Now you put them together, it becomes one string, William Faulkner, and you put that into this variable name. So when you print name, it prints out William Faulkner together. Okay, and look at this one. You concatenate these three into one string, and when you when you tell the system tell me what it is, it shows you as one string. That's called string concatenation. And here I gave you this example. Look at it, right? And you print it, and then print this, and it's printed out. That's called string concatenation. Pretty easy to understand. Now, if you go back to your work, just now I asked you to just take off all the commas, But now you can actually just add them together. I know you did that because you feel more comfortable to separate them bit by bit so that it doesn't mess up things. But now you know that instead of comma, you can use a plus sign. What's the difference? Okay, let me show you the difference. So if you say print, okay, this, right? And hello, okay, and then this. Let's print it out and you will see what the problem is. Okay, so when you print, you see because you use the comma, it automatically inserts a space. See, hello, right? Even though this hello there is no space, just hello, the string has no space. But because you separated them, you do have a space there. Versus if you do this, okay, you plus string concatenation, hello, plus, yeah, this is correct. Okay, now you will see it's one string and it doesn't have that space inserted. That is the difference when you print, okay, when you do these as separate arguments versus as one string concatenated. That's the difference. Any questions, everybody? Okay, so and then you have this this other thing. Okay, this is multiplication, but it allows you to build a string by repeating another string a given number of times. So if you look at this, okay, this is a string, right? Multiplied by 10 plus Python. So this means give me 10 spaces. And then after that, Python. So 10 spaces are used before the text. Let's look at it. So I will just print, okay, the space. Let's give it a space, right? Multiplied by 10. So this will give you 10 spaces. And then we want to print out what? Python. Okay. So you have 10 spaces before and followed by the string. That's what this is. Any questions? Okay, if you do print hello times 3, then it will print out hello 3 times. Okay, if you say print hello and give it a new line character, just now I forgot to ask you to practice this new line character, but times 4 times. What do you think this will print, everybody?
Hello after every line. 4
Yes,
times.
yes, yes, that's true. Okay, so this, remember, this is a new line character. It goes to the next line. Okay, or you can do print hello tab, give it a tab times 5. Okay, it will print out hello 5 times. That's what this is. Any questions, everybody? And as you can see, you can put the number before or after the string. Okay, it doesn't matter which one. Okay, so you practice this a little bit. Print out like what I did. Print out hello 5 times instead of do it like this with 2 new line characters. That means you will print out hello, an empty line, hello, an empty line, hello, an empty line. Can you do that, everybody? Let's do that.
Can y'all see it?
No? Oh, yes, now, yes. Okay. Okay, Very good. Very good. That's absolutely correct. 2 new line character hello followed by 2 new line characters and multiplied by 5. That's correct. Very good. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Any questions, everybody? Okay. So that's that. Okay, let's briefly touch upon the other thing, and then I will let you go. Okay. Okay, so let's look at this. Variables. Okay. Variables. Do you remember what a variable is? Do you remember, everybody?
A
It's a
name that
memory.
stores a value.
Yeah, it's a variable. A variable is a name for a location in memory, right? It's a name, symbolic name for a location in the memory of the system. Just like, you know, on our campus, we have the academic building. We have the Kate, right? Kate building. Some of you know that building. And we have the library. They are symbolic names for that location. So a variable is a name for a location in memory. And in that location, there is a value. And that value can change. It can change to, if it's a location that will store an int, that int can be 2, it can be 10, it can be 100 at different times. Just like the library can host group of students, different group of students, right, at different times. So just think of a variable as a room, as a place where you have different values coming in at different times, not at the same time, at different times. So a variable associates a name with a value, okay? Makes it easy to remember and use later in program. Variable naming rules. Reserved words cannot be used as variable names. We haven't really encountered many reserved words yet, but these are examples. We will discuss them later. Name must begin with a letter or an underscore. It cannot contain any, it can contain any number of letters, digits, or underscores, okay? They are case sensitive. Tip, begin each word in the variable name with an uppercase except the first one. So interest rate, notice R is capitalized. My first word, notice F and W are capitalized. Interest, that's one word, so no capitalization. Hourly pay, notice P is capitalized because it's the second word, right? So that's that. And this is something you must remember. Your name, your variable name must begin with a letter, not digit, or an underscore. Okay. Next, number of letters, digits, or underscore. Notice that I did not mention special characters. I did not mention what else? Space, right? Your variable name cannot have a space. It can only have letters, digits, or underscore. No space. So look at this, interest rate. So the habit is, the convention is, because you cannot have space to separate the different words, you use this case. This is called camel case. That means beginning with the second word, you capitalize the initial letter. Okay, this is the convention. And from now on, I want you to do your variable names this way, okay? Any questions, everybody? No questions? Okay. Programmers use all uppercase letters for symbolic constants. That means if it's a variable whose value does not change, you use uppercase. All uppercase, because they are all uppercase, you separate the two different words with an underscore, okay? Standard deduction, right? So this means it's a constant, it doesn't change. And then you have variable name, expression, whatever value you want to assign to that variable. So look at this. Okay, let me ask you, what data type is this variable? What's the data type for this variable? We talked about 3 data types: int, float, and string.
String.
What?
String.
String. Yes. What about this one?
String.
String, because this is a string literal. You are putting that into this. So now this is a string, okay? And this is a string also. And this is called, what's this mechanism called? It's difficult to pronounce, but what's this mechanism called?
Concation.
Starting with a C. Someone can
Concatenation.
pronounce it. What?
Concatenation.
Yes,
Or how do you
very
say
good. That's Kelsey, right? String concatenation. Yes, I think it's time
Oh,
for us to go. Okay, this is string concatenation. So you are having the first name, last name, and you add a space in between. Okay, so now when you show full name, it will have this space there. I think we will stop here, everybody. And then next time we will continue. Okay, I'm going to stop this recording. Stop.